Hi everybody, good morning. Today we're going to be talking about Chapter 19 in our class, and it's on advertising media. So how does this actually fit with some of the other things that we've done? Let's actually start out and take a look at that real quick. So right now in this unit on promotion, you've done Chapter 17, which talks about the promotional mix, and that chapter was talking about all the different things you would consider that you would put together for one company, one product, or one service, all the choices that you would make that deal with the promotional mix. In our last chapter, in Chapter 18, we were talking about visual merchandising and also experiential marketing, and those two things were more focused on the visual and the activities that you might actually do to try to draw people into your store or into your restaurant. And then in this chapter, what we want to talk about is advertising media choice selection and how different email marketers, social media marketers, and even things like newspapers and billboards, how they actually do their pricing. We've cut this lesson down quite a bit, but I tried to focus on the most important things to make sure that we get you through this lesson in the clearest way possible. For those of you that are DECA competitors, you might always like to know how this ties into the performance indicators. So what you can see in front of you real quick, we're going to touch on those in the work that we do today. At the top, we've got the performance indicators, and then also down at the bottom, it talks about events that would specifically be related to advertising media. So it talks about the advertising design campaign competition that's now been updated to be the integrated marketing campaign event, which you guys did a sample of already. It also talks about EMDM, that actually is entrepreneurship team event. And then the last one that it talks about is the sports and entertainment marketing team event. And there used to be a sports and entertainment marketing plan, but that now is included in that IMCE, so that integrated marketing campaign event. So when we take a look at these different ads and things, if you take a look at this image, this is going to be from Times Square in New York City. Just look at it for a second and count how many ads you see in a matter of 5 seconds. So I'm not sure what number you got to. I think I probably got to about 15 or 20. But if we take a look at that caption at the bottom, you can see that a lot of experts think that Americans are exposed to around 4,000 to 10,000 advertisements each day. Now moving forward, if we would have seen this Coca-Cola ad in the background, so this one right here, if we would have seen this Coca-Cola ad in the background, if we've only seen it one time, then we really only had in advertising what's called one impression of that. In our world, we might have seen it on a billboard like this in Times Square. We may have also seen it on TV, and we might have also seen it on our phone or social media. And when you start to talk about seeing it multiple times again, the word in advertising is going to be known as frequency. So how often did you see the same ad over and over again? So those are a couple buzzwords in this area. So your kind of task, as you can imagine, with trying to figure out what can you do for your advertising campaign that is going to stand out. You have two examples at the top. On the left, you can see that Dove Real Beauty campaign. I think that you probably would have seen that somewhere before, focused on just regular models and regular women of all different shapes and talking about feeling comfortable in your own skin, trying to get away from that model image. And then on the right, of course, Old Spice has its quirky commercials. It's like every one just gets goofier and goofier. So how do you actually stand out? Well, a couple things you really want to think about. Maybe you want to create something memorable. Maybe it's going to be something that connects with people. That Dove Real Beauty campaign is actually ranked in the top 10 ad campaigns of all time. So it's really kind of cool to, to see the impact that actually had on quite a few consumers. In this main topic that we want to talk about with media planning, there are 4 things that a company has to consider before they make their choice on what they're going to do. So the first thing they have to do is select the best media, the one that's going to make sense for their product or their service that they're trying to market. The second thing that they have to do is make sure that they place that ad in the best time slot, possibly on the best channel, in the right magazine, in the right location, on the correct social media platform, and all those different things. So what I want you to think about for a second is imagine We're LA Fitness. So if we're LA Fitness, we're a really big fitness chain. We probably have a couple different target markets. I think they have daycare, so they probably are going to be targeted to families on one hand. They also are going to target to young professionals. And then they're probably also going to target to senior citizens that are trying to stay healthy and stay active. Well, if you have young parents, working professionals, and you have senior citizens, are they all going to look at the same magazine? Are they all going to go to the same websites? And are they all going to go to the same social media platforms? And I think if you stop and think about it for a second, you already know the answer is no, because we have all different demographics that are going to be the right fit for all of those different channels that we're talking about. So that's what we mean by placing. One of the other things we have to consider is using past data to make good future decisions. And it's kind of that old adage that we can learn from history and learn from things that we've done before. So if we've done an ad campaign before on Facebook and we really didn't get the results we were wanting to end up with, why do the same thing again? So let's go try something different. If our data shows us that ads on Instagram are very lucrative for us, then awesome. Let's use that good news and let's do that again. Our last thing we have to consider is going to be our budget. So we've got to make sure that with whatever budget we have, and as we saw in, I think it was maybe chapter 17, that Pepsi's budget was in the billions of dollars. I can't even imagine working with a number like that. So whatever our budget is, we still have to make sure that we make really good decisions with it. All right, so what will also happen is that there's something called media measurement. And the media measurement is going to help the advertisers determine the correct media to use and the overall effectiveness. So every type of media that you might want to use, whether it's television, major networks, cable channels, social media, any type of social media, billboards, magazines, newspapers, transit advertising like on SEPTA buses and trains, any of those different things, they're all going to be able to provide you as the advertiser with some data and statistics on how effective those different things actually are. So take a look at this chart for us real quick. On a response rate is going to be getting someone to go to your website, follow you on social media, purchase something from your website, purchase something from your store, any of these different things. So direct mail only gets 6%. But if we do direct mail and also on our website, it goes up to 27. If we do direct mail and also an email, so direct mail is kind of like what we call junk mail, it goes up to 27%. And the last one, I think my video might be covering it, but to get it all the way up to 37, it's going to be a combination of direct mail, also on the website, and also an email campaign, and that's how we're going to get it up to 37. So these different entities are going to be able to provide you with some data and statistics to help you know what might make the best decision for you. So as we said in the very beginning, we talked about the impression and we also talked about frequency. These are the different terminology that they're going to share with you. On your audience, they're going to let you know how many different homes or email addresses that their web blast actually goes to. They're going to let you know on a website like Yahoo News, for example. On Yahoo News, they're going to let you know on average how many people visit that site each day. So if you were to advertise on that site, approximately how many people would see your site when you advertise. In a website and social media, they're even going to be able to break it down to the specific time of day with the number of people that are on there. The impression is probably pretty obvious when you see something one time. Your frequency is the number of times that you see it or that you hear it. Your large drink companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi are really, really awesome at this, and Dunkin' Donuts is really awesome at this as well, that they have their campaigns across all different types of media platforms, and you can only imagine how expensive that is. And then when it comes down to their reach, and that's how far your money will go, it's going to be oftentimes abbreviated CPM, and that actually stands for cost per thousand. So why isn't it CPT? Well, the M actually is the Roman numeral for 1,000. So if that doesn't quite sink in, think about the numbers that they use for the Super Bowl, and that probably is going to be something with Roman numerals that might make sense to you. So the media is going to show you, the media cost per reaching 1,000 readers or viewers. So that's going to be one of the things that they do. There are 4 different ways that companies decide how much money they're going to spend. Sometimes they do a mathematical equation and they say, I'm going to do a percentage of sales. Other times they don't have that luxury and they only have a certain amount of money to spend. Another thing they'll do sometimes is try to match the competition. I just recently listened to a really cool podcast called Business Wars, and it was Starbucks versus Dunkin' Donuts, and that's totally what they did. So one would do something and the other would come out with a campaign basically trying to, fight against each other for that coffee consumer. And then the last one is they might possibly determine a goal that they want to reach, and then they just spend money until they reach that goal. That obviously would be a personal decision if you were a small business owner on what you would like to do. We're going to wrap things up here with our different steps and an advertising campaign. I love this graphic, but I do not love that it actually starts with number 1 at the bottom. So don't let your eyes play a trick on you. So you can take a look from number 1 all the way to number 8. In our class this year, we've done a marketing plan all the way back in the fall, and that was on your snack mix, your popcorn marketing plan that you did right before I broke my foot. And then we also did a promotional plan, and now you can see what would happen with an advertising plan. But look at it for just a second. I want you to look at number 1, number 5, and number 8. And notice how similar they are to all the other plans and steps that you ever looked at. So the first one is almost always the same. Identify and analyze your target audience. Who are we trying to reach? Let's look in the middle at number 5. You're going to develop a plan, and then if you take a look at the end at number 8, you're going to evaluate what you did. And almost all of these plans follow these exact same steps. On the right-hand side, I put, there are a couple of them I don't love the language that they use, so I just kind of put it in words that we often use in class. If you really like this topic and you want to learn a little bit more of it, I will leave this article for you, and it talks about a little more detailed information on how advertising companies actually book media and approximately how much it costs. So for us, we're actually just going to, for our activity, only work on the simulation that is on an email blast campaign in Virtual Business. So we're not going to do the reading or the math or the reading quiz, because really what you've just done has gone over that. But in your email blast, it's totally going to hit on how many people there are, the impressions, the frequency, and also the cost per thousand. So I think that's going to be a really awesome experiential learning activity for you. If you guys have any questions on this, please make sure that you follow up with me. I'm sure you can stop and review any of these things as often as you want. And I'm pretty sure for our next project, I'm going to make you guys create a video for me, because it's not quite as easy as it might seem. So I hope you're having a fantastic week and we get some sunshine this week. And I really still miss seeing your smiling faces. So we'll have to do a Zoom class pretty soon. Take care. I miss you. Bye-bye.